Less than a week after a trial began over Ticketmaster's parent company alleged monopoly of the event ticket business, the Justice Department and Live Nation have reached a tentative settlement. Live Nation says it has agreed to pay $280 million in civil penalties to at least 10 of the 40 states that sued the entertainment company in 2024 for its alleged monopoly over live concert tickets, bookings, venues, and promotions. Ticketmaster must now allow rival companies to sell tickets on its platform. The deal also requires Live Nation to sell at least 13 of its amphitheaters, and there's a 15% cap for ticket service fees. Not all states agree with the settlement, and they plan to move forward with the lawsuit. In a statement, Live Nation said in part, quote, by giving artists greater flexibility in choosing their promotional partners and ticketing strategy, while also keeping the cost of a concert more affordable for fans, we are putting more power where it should be with artists and fans. Kenneth Dintzer joins us now. He's an antitrust attorney at law firm Crowell Moring. So, Kenneth, help us understand this settlement and why Live Nation and the government agreed to it.
So the settlement provides that there will be some things that Live Nation and Ticketmaster can't do that they've been doing for the past few years. They've been historically leaning into the relationship between the two of them to encourage, or some say threaten, venues to take Ticketmaster and their ticketing services.
The judge in this case, in the Manhattan federal court, called the settlement process entirely unacceptable. He added no one had informed him of the deal until late Sunday. Can you help us explain why he would characterize it that way?
Yeah, that was a very angry judge. The first thing that they teach you when you're going to go off to litigate in court is do not surprise the judge. And DOJ and Live Nation, they did exactly that. They signed this agreement on Thursday, and they didn't tell the judge until Sunday night. In fact, they had a whole day of court on Friday that basically was unnecessary because they had already reached a settlement.
Wow, so it wasn't necessarily about the crux and substance of the settlement, but rather just the timing and the fact that the judge was out of the loop.
That was the thing that really ticked the judge off today, is that you're really supposed to keep the judge in the loop if there's settlement discussions, if you think the case is going to go away, certainly if you've already settled or reached a settlement agreement. That was what made him so angry today. He ultimately will be in a position where he gets to decide under certain statutes whether this is an acceptable settlement. So this is not a place to start from.
All right, so not a done deal, and not every state involved has settled. So what happens next from there? And do you think that you and I, your daughter, are going to see any difference in the ticket buying experience?
So what happens next is a very interesting question. The states who haven't settled have said, look, we can't just start again without the Department of Justice. The jury's going to be sitting there going, what happened? So they've asked for a mistrial. They've asked for a do-over where everything would start over again at some later date. The judge may say no and may make the remaining states just go forward based on the people who are left. So that'll be a very interesting question. What we will see, hopefully, is a more responsive Ticketmaster. And so when my daughter next time is trying to buy Taylor Swift tickets, maybe their system won't crash. The hope is that by breaking the separation between Live Nation and Ticketmaster, at least to some extent, that Ticketmaster will have to compete. So, for example, when you're buying tickets, even if you do it at a Ticketmaster location, you may be buying SeatGeek tickets because Ticketmaster is going to have to share their platform.
Kenneth Dintzer, always appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.